guys. So, as you've been hearing in the rumor mill, I'm sure you've heard about it. Xbox has been trying to get PlayStation on board with this whole cross-platform play. And PlayStation has been consistently saying no, or better yet, Sony for that matter. Now, me, myself, I look at this from a different angle as everybody else. I look at it from the aspect of two things. One, Sony is probably looking at it from a financial standpoint. They've, this generation, been doing everything by the money factor. How can we make money? I mean, think of it this way. PlayStation 4 is, of course, the first generation where backwards compatibility cost you money. PlayStation Now, I'm just pointing that out. Don't shoot the messenger. You don't believe me? Go look at PlayStation Now. Everything on that, something you already own from last gen. It's mighty convenient, isn't it? It's impressive how the almighty dollar and Sony go hand in hand this generation. Now, if you don't believe me, I got more proof for you. The PlayStation subscription, the PlayStation Plus, it was free last generation. It's now costing you money. Just throwing that out there. Not only is it costing you money, it also went up in price. Not only once, but twice. Let's just look at that. Money, Sony and money going hand in hand, aren't they? Just throwing that out there for you guys. Now, that aside, let's look at one more thing. Sony is, well, their home is in Japan. Where's the Xbox not doing the best at? In Japan. So let's take a look at this from that aspect. Xbox, you're the guys who want this to happen more than anything. And a company like Sony is in Japan. Now, I know Nintendo is on board with you, but Nintendo is a gaming company. Nintendo is a gaming company who actually believes in games. Sony is not. There's a difference there. Sony is not a gaming company. Sony does not believe the same things Nintendo does. Sony does not have your best interest at heart. Nintendo is all about the games. Okay, I know you're going to be thinking different from this, but follow the white rabbit, if you will. I've said that term quite a bit in the past few videos, but listen to me now. While Sony is trying to figure out how to make money from this, Nintendo is like, we got Rocket League coming to the Switch. Fuck it, man. We got multiplayer games coming to the Switch that are also available on other consoles. Who the fuck cares what you own? If you own another system with this game on it, man, fuck it, man. We'll let anybody play. They're very pro player. And Xbox is the same way. They're very pro player. I mean, they've given up exclusives on Xbox, even though they wouldn't have you believe that after letting their dumbass talk for some time. They've given it up. So here's the thing. Nintendo is like, hey, if it's a multi-plat, we'll allow cross breeding with the systems. Now, they still have their exclusives. That's the good part. Here's the thing. They're not looking to make a profit from this. They're like, it's a system, and, you know, it's up to the developers. Sony does not believe in it. Sony's like, we're very, very much into our own thing. We want to make that money. And so far, every risk that we've taken hasn't paid off. Case in point, Vita in America is not selling. Case in point, VR in America has not made them no money. Neither has the Vita. The Vita has not made it rain on them in many a years. The PSVR has not made it rain, at least in America. And PlayStation Now subscriptions are not making it rain on Sony. No matter how you slice it, those things are risks, and unfortunately, Sony is not seeing a return. So, why would they even think about taking this risk if there's no money involved? They don't see a return, they're not happy about it, and it's coming out of Xbox, something that, again, a company from Japan who has not been very pro player this generation it's like, we don't. You see how I'm saying to look at this? It's very on this side instead of on that side, because again, I'm having to look at it from a reality standpoint. Everybody will have you look at it from a unreality standpoint. I'm looking at it from a reality standpoint. So again, following the white rabbit here, Sony is trying to figure out how to make a profit from it. How do you follow the white rabbit from that? Well, PlayStation Now, they're charging you for every game that you bought on the PS3 to play on the PS4 by streaming it. Even though you already own it, you're paying to play it again. Profiting. Okay? And if you still need more proof, you have PlayStation Plus. You're paying for that shit now. It was free last fucking generation. Paying for it. Profit. And again, they're just seeing if they can afford to take the risk, because again, Xbox is not talking about making any money from cross-generation, or not cross-generation, but cross-platform play. They're not talking about, charging people for it. Sony is thinking, how do we make money from it? Nintendo is on board with it, and they haven't said we're going to charge people for it. Both companies not mentioning charging anyone for it. Sony is sitting back going, how do we charge? That's exactly what they're doing. That's all they're doing. Now again, I'm still on the whole thing about the PS Vita and the VR not taking off the way it should have in America. Yes, the PS Vita took off for a little bit, just maybe the first 2 years, and then it just died. And the PS VR has not even hit. It's in less than 5% of current PS4 owners' homes. That right there, these are causes for Sony to sit back and go no. On top of the fact that the Xbox is not well received in Japan. But again, we are talking about a company that is not purely gaming, something a lot of people out there don't understand, including a lot of you guys. Just don't understand. Sony is bigger than just gaming. They started doing other shit. They started in TV, they started in movies, they started in home electronics. Not gaming. So they're not per se, they're not per se for gamers. They're more pro everything else. And even then, they're not really. They're more about money. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw my 2 cents out there for this topic, because again, I look at this just a hair bit different than other people, and it just had to be said, because I'm tired of hearing people say, oh, they'll get on board with it when it takes off. They jumped in a lot of stuff before it took off, and it didn't pay off. And now they're being a little reserved, which is good. They needed to be a little reserved, but they needed to be a little reserved before they jumped in the other projects and wasted their fucking money, because now they don't have it. And now they're hurting. Just saying. Deuces.